right, welcome back to Let's Grow Podcast. And today our guest is Nico Munoz, or should I say Francisco, but everybody knows him as Nico. Nico Munoz with Supreme Lending. So welcome, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Great.
It's awesome, man.
Great Thanksgiving holiday. It was awesome, man.
Yeah, man. So let's jump in, man. So I want you to share a little bit about who you are, where you came from, where'd you grow up, things like that.
Okay. So, I'm Nico, of course. Everyone, like you said, my government name is Francisco. Grew up in East Dallas. I went to school. That's kind of where we met. Private school. We know each other for a long time. Same kind of background. Tight knit. Catholic families. We're Sunday church and
sports and everything.
Sports and everything else, man.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads me into the conversation what we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
We learned from an early age with those relationships we had with our parents and our grandparents, and and we watched them as they showed the love to the community.
Yeah.
Shared that those good family values, and being able to serve when you can, right? And that's kind of what we're at now. Being able to help first time buyers. That's what I do now. I'm a loan officer for, like you said, for Supreme Lending, and I kind of landed into this industry by chance, right? And, I'd been in the car business, good 12 years,
okay.
Finance manager.
Yeah.
I worked my way up from doing car sales to being a finance manager, independent car lots. I built the processes, the way we ran the business.
Yeah.
Very successful, and then pandemic hit, kind of grew too fast, and that's what I made that conversation with you, man.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, man, we remodeled our house, we pulled the money out, and I was like, man, we're sitting on some crap load of equity, and we would have never, me and Erica are just so grateful, the position you put us in when we sold us our house, man, and that just kind of led me into what I'm doing now, man.
Yeah.
So
what made you transition in from the car business to now mortgages, right? Because I share a similar background, right? I used to sell car parts and got out of that business and jumped into real estate sales, right?
Yeah.
And so what made you want to leave the car business, the car industry, to mortgages?
I think the main reason was able to, as opposed to helping people get into a vehicle, that got them to their job every day, right? Or that got them to moving the family around. In a way, it was serving them. But when you talk about real estate, you start to talk about how families can build generational wealth, how they're able to, leave the possibilities to their kids, to leave something to their kids. You're showing them the right way. You're showing them the right way to, again, build the wealth. Maybe start to have invest. The mindset changes.
Yeah.
Right.
And the conversations are different.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, nobody's building wealth with cars.
No.
Right.
No.
Whether you're driving a Honda or a Maserati, I mean, you're not building wealth with cars. And so that kind of leads into the conversations and the relationships that you're able to build and serve people is, I think, a lot stronger.
Yes.
Transition. Now, there's no knock on the car industry or anything like that.
No.
Because I came from that world, right? I was very successful in that industry as well, and it was just I wanted something different, and I wanted to build a different type of relationship with people, because those different industries, you build different relationships.
Certainly.
They are different. And so, even though you work with Supreme Lending, right, you are your own business within a business.
Correct.
So what do you think has been the biggest challenge of being a business owner?
Well, I think the main challenge is not knowing how many different hats you have to wear, right? And it just goes to showing the real estate transaction as well, right? Managing those relationships, but it just goes to the industry that we're in, right? You have to manage so many egos or the mindsets of different people, and seeing how they are gaining from the situation you're currently in, or what you can provide to them. A lot of them don't even understand what kind of position they could be in, 5-10 years down the road. That's kind of how I just fell into it. I was like, man, there's not enough education, from the background that we came from. And we grew up in private school. We grew up. They don't teach. How do you build wealth or real estate or taxes or anything with money, man. And I think being able to provide a service where we're able to not only be a part of the story, but we can change their story.
Yeah.
Because it's so important, man. It's so important.
Yeah.
And I want to speak to, what you guys set up, right? And it's the networks that we've built, the networks that you're building in different parts of DFW, right? It's just connecting people, and it just goes to show again to that serving that we grew up with.
No, of course. And, and wearing so many hats as a business owner, right? We become their therapist. We become their, anything it is. It's like, shit, I don't know. I sell houses like that. But we learn to navigate these different hats of people and based off their relationship or what they've gone through. I mean, we wear a lot of hats. Yeah. But as a business owner, too, we have to be the financial planner. We have to be the CPA sometimes, right? We can leverage that stuff out, but if we don't know our own numbers and things like that, then obviously we're not a very good business owner. But we have to know marketing. We have to know how to go get the business and hunt for it, right? We wear all that. We're not just sitting on our couches expecting for business just to be thrown our way, right? Because that's how most businesses fail, and especially in the real estate industry, right? We can talk about this for days where, you have to go out and hunt for business. So what are some things that you're doing unique that are attracting agents or the consumer themselves to use Nico for their lending?
Okay. Well, it's kind of funny you say that. We've actually just started a test that I'm doing right now, right? Okay. So I know for a fact that
we're like a scan.
Yeah.
No.
I'm testing a market strategy. I should say, right? The old adage is, loan officers go to realtors and like, hey, let me get your next deal. I'll close on time, right? And how many calls of that do you get a day?
Or I can go down to 540, right? And I'm like, what? I'm not going to get into those details because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. It's what the strategy is. There's so much real estate being sold in the DFW market that aren't being represented by agents. So what I've been doing is within this last week, I got some for sale by owners, and we're trying to see if we can help them out, right, against serving. But the test, usually from the coaching I'm getting, they're stating that within 5 to 6 weeks they'll be looking to list with an agent. So that's how you can turn from asking for the business to giving business, because then you can, in turn, you will share those leads that come from that listing.
Yeah, because that's something different, definitely, because in the decade that I've been doing this now, nearly most loan offers, like you said, they call, hey, I can do XYZ. Send me all your deals in business, but yet you have a different way, and you're like, okay, how can I serve my agent partners? How can I give them business?
Certainly.
Or how can I give this one to a new agent and earn their business on the other end, right? So you're doing these unique things that you're testing out and going after for sale by owners, which is very unique because you don't hear you hear agents going after for sale by owners, right? To trying to get business, but not a loan officer. So other than that, what other maybe one or two things are you doing as a strategy or something to grow your business?
So, of course, social media, right? I try to be as as present or as relative, right? And the way is to be local, right? You got to be local. You got to, first of all, you got to know who you're trying to target. You got to know the places they hang out. You got to know what type of music they like. They got to know where they're going to go eat.
So are you at a DMX over there handing out business cards asking if they want to buy a house? And all my people who are my age are going to know what that means.
Yeah,
kudos
for sure.
to y'all. But right, it's like you got to be local. Are you going to those places, or are you going to other different places where you're trying to attract the business, right?
You got to be everywhere. You got to be omnipresent. It doesn't, there's no bad marketing, right? It all works. Whether your strategy, it's what are you going to take the time to do? How many connections are you going to make, right? And how many people can you get in front of that are going to say yes? That's the main thing, and creating those opportunities, which I see that I'm starting to do because these for sale by owners are giving me the trust. They're giving me, and in reality, my whole thing is to share this with my realtors in order for them to grow, and as they grow, I will grow.
Yeah, and it's organic.
It's organic, man.
Yeah.
So
you win, I win, everybody wins, right? And that's amazing. So, back to, we've known each other for a long time and things like that. Jumping in from one industry to the other, how has the support been at home, right? Because as business owners, you know, I know Erica, you know, your wife, and so what are y'all doing, or how is she being able to support you?
Certainly.
Starting this new business, right? Because you went all in, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, as a realtor or as a lender, as a 1099 business owner, when you go all in, sometimes that can bring the stress at home.
Certainly.
Within the family, the dynamic, and we have to have a supportive spouse or a supportive partner for that. So, and I know she's very supportive of you. But so, what are some things that maybe y'all to do to escape? Right, to keep building that amazing relationship that y'all have and things like that.
It's kind of, you know, of course, you know, our two main concerns are our two boys, right? And it's us spending time as a family. It really takes away from the stress because let's not sugarcoat it. It's a difficult market right now.
It is.
And it's, if you don't have that open line of communication, because communication is the main thing. Being able to communicate what's going on, where you plan to go, right? And what are the plans for the future? You know, if there's no plan, then there's no hope for your relationship. You got to have that plan, and of course, you know, it helps that you have a strong woman standing beside you in order to do those things. So.
Yeah, no, definitely, and you know, like you said, it is a challenging market. It is tough, right? And we're not here for, you know, the boom, right? Past few years where it's been crazy busy. People were jumping in both sides of our industry, right? Yeah. Lending, sales, you know, title, whatever it is, inspectors. I mean, and because people didn't need to do anything to go find the business, right? And now that we do have to find the business and talk to more people to get just one deal on the table and hope that it closes, you know, we're not transactional. This is where the relationship building comes in. So what are some of the key things that you look for in the relationships that you build, from whether it's an agent partner or a business partner or, you know, to that matter?
Well, it goes to the old adage, you know, who could I go to a ball game with, man? Who could I see, you know, my kids playing with their kids or something like that, right? You don't have to do business with everybody. You don't. There's enough business out there in order to build strong. The whole thing is building stronger relationships. So, you know, you and your business partners know that, hey, you know, for example, our insurance guys, right? Yeah. I know for a fact if I send my clients over there that the insurance is going to get taken care of. I know for a fact that if I give you a client, you're going to show them as many houses they need to see in order to make, you know, their dream of home ownership a reality. You know, you want to have those strong relationships of, you know, for example, man, you know, we couldn't look anywhere else but to have you in our wedding room, because that's how we, you know, our relationship has built over the years, you know, so.
Yeah, and that's what I tell all business owners, right, or people in our industry. It's like, stop casting your net out wide. Sometimes you got to do that in certain marketing strategies, but maybe go deeper and on the relationship side of things to see how you can build stronger relationships and earn more business from those relationships, right? You don't need 100 realtor partners, right? I don't need 100 lenders out there to make it work, right? It's like, where are my handful? Who are the ones I want to do business? How can I help them get more business? Add that value to them, and that's how the relationships build, right? Like you said, you don't have to have tons and tons of the same people in the industry, you know.
It literally could be three your top guys, and if we're doing business together, that you know the family's taken care of. At the end of the day, that's all you want. You want your family to be taken care of, and you know, to, you know, vacation 4 times a year. You know, that's it. You know, and at the end of the day, the real estate, the business that we're in, it'll kick back up, right?
And the thing is, you said you look for people who are aligned the same. Who can I go catch a ball game, right? You're into sports. I know you played sports. Who can I see my kids hanging out with, right? Those are the values that you have for you and your family, and it's like, I need to see those same values in the partners that I look for, right? The business partners and stuff. Because if you're looking for a business partner, right, a vendor partner, whatever you want to call it, and your values are misaligned, it's not going to be a very long-lasting relationship.
Without a doubt.
Or a strong one, right? It's going to be a, you know, what are you going to give me type of relationship in order for me to give you something? And that's the wrong mentality to have. when you building a business.
Yeah, bro.
Right?
It almost gives me chills that you would say that. You know, it's just like those what do you say? Those one-way relationships that will never pan out. It doesn't never. You know, it's one way, and it has to be, say, double-sided to where you gain some value and I'm gaining some value, and we grow together. And when that happens, then you know everybody's happy. Your family's happy. My family's happy. You're able to wake up in the morning and be like, hey, I already know I got to take care of this. I got to. You know, let's go have lunch with my guy. You know, we'll go. You know, hit the golf course or what. You know,
we'll
whatever.
be on the beach together, vacationing 4 times a year, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, it's the mentality, man, the mindset. So, what keeps you going, right? Because building a business, especially in this market that we're coming into and that we're a part of right now, which we'll see the other side of it. But what are you doing that keeps you going and keeps you motivated, keeps you working hard every day?
Yeah, you know, again, it goes back to that time with my family, right? And then if you can get that quiet time by yourself, because there's no, you know, we need it. We need that quiet time by ourselves, because if you don't, whether it's you know, waking up before everybody and having that time to think about the day. Because if you're just going in and thinking, I got to handle this, I got to handle that, no, you need to calm yourself, breathe. You know, we got to breathe, man. And that's, I think that's, you know, that flight or fight mode. You want to take that time to actually be able to attract what you need in your life, or what's meant for you.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to be grateful for everything that you have, because, you know, it could be one day from another and we're not here anymore. But if you're grateful for that moment in which, you know, God put us in this position to be able to change so many lives just by having conversations. I have to pinch myself to tell myself every day that we're doing the right thing, man. And it's a beautiful thing when we're able to, again, close those transactions and build those relationships with people.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to take time for yourself, right? Whether it's 30 minutes, like you said, waking up earlier, or maybe going to bed after everybody, because if not, you'll get burned out. You not only burned out in your business, but burned out at home or, you know, you get more aggravated when your kids are, you know, poking you to unlock my phone, right? Or something like that. And it's like, or, you know, your partner. So you have to take that time to yourself and get back to you in order for you to be better for everybody else.
Certainly.
Right? No, that's amazing, man. So, you know, before we wrap it up and things, what are some things you can talk to about people who are wanting to build deeper relationships with their partners? What are 1 or 2 things they need to look for or start doing today?
As far as looking for the right business partners is, you know, understand where they may or may not be hanging out at, right? So, for example, we built a beautiful group out in Garland, right? And I can understand that, you know, over this past year that all of our relationships have gotten deeper. We have been able to understand that if we give a client to somebody, we know that 100% they're going to get taken care of because of the people we deal with, right? Getting into those groups. Maybe go into a group that maybe you may not be comfortable going into, but you never know that one handshake that you make could change your whole business. So put yourself in more rooms than you would usually do in the past, because right now we got to do any and everything and shake as many hands and kiss as many babies as we can in order to find the business. So my whole thing is understanding where they may be at, where you could find the data for whatever field you may be in, right? Understand where then transactions happens. And for example, my industry, our transaction happens with the relationships with the realtors we can build. The more realtors and deeper relationship we have with realtors, they'll understand that they'll know they'll get taken care of with me. And the more yeses I get, the better we'll grow. And the same way for you, right? So
So last thing, what are you doing when you get that no? How do you overcome all these no's, right? Because in our industry, we get told no all the time, right? Whether it's from a partner or whether it's from trying to get in partnership with somebody, right? Or if it's from the consumer. I mean, so how do you overcome those no's?
Again, I'm a data guy, right? So I got to understand where the no came from first, right? Could you have done something else different? Right? And that goes back to having that time by yourself. practicing, training on these things, you know, and finding a mentor who can coach you through these things if you don't have the answer. You know, because we don't have all the answers. We're all human. Yep. We're no one's better than the other person. We're all on the same It's just, how are you able to communicate the end goal for what they're trying to do? Yeah, that's the most important part of that.
Yeah, and you have to take those no's, right? You have to take the no's, ask for constructive feedback, and see what you could have not done wrong, but what could you have done differently,
certainly,
to make it a yes. Because there are some things that fall on us, but then there's some that are uncontrollables that, okay, well, hey, if we, like you said, if you analyze where the no came from, and if it's on you, cool, kudos, learn from it, get better and grow from it. But if it's something that you couldn't control, right, maybe it's the rate or I don't know, whatever it is, then you have to be like, oh, okay, cool, guess what, that wasn't because of me, you know. But most people think every no is a shot at them, right, for their own personal, and it's a personal no to them, and that's where I think most businesses fall, because they're like, oh my God, it's just me, it's me. Yeah. But in reality, it's not. They just got to figure out where that no came from.
Yeah, not only that, they got to go find that other yes. Yeah, you know, you
can't spend too much time on
the no, because we got to find that. You know, you got to. It's just like, you know, it goes back to the old adage of sports, right? You know, you may miss a shot, or you may miss the rebound, or you may, you know, hit a pop fly, or, you know, maybe your time wasn't as fast in track that day, right? Yeah. You just know you got to get up the next day and be better than you were the day before. And if we continue to do that, it will build and build and build and build, and you know, you'll be on top of the mountain.
Yeah. So you're a sports guy, and I see you have a Mavs.
Let's go Mavs.
What are the Mavs going to do this year?
Oh man, it's, you know, it's funny you say that coming on the radio. You know, we're third in the Western Conference right now, and then they're saying that Luka could possibly have his hand broken. So you know, it's just one of the, you got to play the games. Whether Luka's on the floor, whether, you know, Kyrie's on the floor, or, you know, it's again, it's the team. So
and that's what it is, right? Yeah. Even in business, when you're building it, you can't build it around just one person. Yeah. Like even myself, right? We have teams, and if I build everything only around me, what happens if I go down? Yeah. Right? What happens if I can't do it? Then the whole business falls apart, right?
Yeah, it can.
And it's the same thing as in the sports, right? So a lot of those things that we see in sports relate to business building.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So cool. All right, man. Well, I don't want to keep you too much. How can anybody who's looking to purchase a home or maybe even refinance find you?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Instagram, Francis_Moon. It's a play on my name, Francisco Munoz, but that's where that came from. Or you can contact me by my cell phone, text, or call 214-287-7029, or get in contact with Matt. You know, he can help you with your real estate needs, guide you that way, and you know, if you need a good lender, here I am.
Cool. Awesome, brother. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Awesome, bro. All right, everybody. There you go. Give Nico a call if you're looking to purchase a home or refinance, or just have questions in general, right?
Yeah.
And let's all continue to grow.
That's it. You want to talk sports? I'm here for you, too.